Welcome back, One Wise Fool. You know it's early in the morning time right now, dog. I woke up. I've been waking up earlier than what I usually supposed to. I usually wake up at 2:45, but everything is trial and error. Just to go over this real quick, dog, I learned that when you set out to do something, you have to show up early, because if you show up on time, you late, right? I learned this at the job force, of course, but just me planning my life, planning the work and working the plan or whatever, the saying is, I learned that you got to show up early before, and rather than showing up on time, because you're always going to be late and you're not going to be prepared, right? So I just got done doing like 30 pull-ups, dog. Things are changing really fast, and it's perfect timing because I made this channel last year around this time when I came back from Atlanta. And I One Truth Talk was my first channel, but this channel was the side channel, and I also had a mission for this channel. But it seems like I had to go through so many trial and error to actually start talking on this channel, And that's the thing about life, you might have your mind set for something, but you may have to go through some things to get uncomfortable, to be able to become that version of yourself so you can do that, right? I was just talking to a client about this, a guy who I just started coaching from this channel, right? And, I was telling him about all of it. And, as I was talking, I was like, man, this makes so much sense. A lot of the times, bro, you have the answers within you, but you have to just speak it. And that kind of deals with your throat chakra, whatever you want to call it. But that being kind of closed, because a lot of times you operating in that state down there that you can't actually think with this mind, and you can't talk fluently, right? But that's what semen retention too. That's what semen retention helps with too. But that's neither here or there, right? But today it is No Nut November, the first day of No Nut November, right? I don't even call it November. I call it No Nut November. But I got something that I got to tell you, dog. That's probably going to break your heart, bro. And you probably know this or you probably don't, but I'm about to tell you. So listen, this is a lifestyle. Semen retention is a lifestyle, right? There's no 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? I came to the conclusion that No Nut November is actually sabotaging your journey. And this is why. I'm gonna tell you why, right? So, like, recently I had in my mind, I had planned to go to Miami, but, I don't even speak on things that I got going, you feel what I'm saying? But that was something that I had going. And if you've been following me on One Truth Talk, you understand that I was really aiming to go there sooner than right now, right? It's supposed to be like 2 months ago. But it came to the point where things weren't just lining up how I wanted them to line up, right? God's plan for you is way much more bigger than what your plan is, right? And sometimes you just have to wait to see that plan unfold, and you'll see like, dang, that plan was God plan. God had me the whole time. Now, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. That's it. Faith without works is dead. So it's like you have to meet God halfway. I just had to put that in there. But I was supposed to start waking up at 2:45 the first day of January of 2026, right? And I'm telling you, right? It was maybe like right after my birthday that I had this realization. I had relapsed. And this is like, I don't like to count my days, but I'm like 38, 39-ish days in. I don't even know, but I know the days are going by fast, dog. Don't quote me, but it's somewhere around there. I just know I'm past the 30-day mark, right? So I had this realization because I kept telling myself when I was 20, I was like, bro, I can't be 21 beating my meat, bro. Like, I had to overcome some very traumatic things. It's not really traumatic. Now that I understand you can't put these labels on these things in these situations, because it's kind of like you're putting a spell over your life, right? Nothing is set in stone, right? So I had to realize, I told myself, I was like, I don't want to be 21 doing this. But I actually went into 21 still relapsing. So this is around 20. When I was 20, I started saying this to myself before I turned 21. And then when I turned 22, which was last month, September, Well, almost last month, like almost a month and some change. I turned 22 September 25th. So I was like, yo, something got to change, because I remember telling myself that when I turned 21, that I wouldn't be relapsing. So I had this realization. I was like, you know what, bro? I need to start making this content because, and let me just tell you this, bro, that was the best decision I ever made. And God showed me something once I started, once I just went all in, bro. So this was when I was working out at Anytime Fitness. I had posted a video on my Flix TV channel, right? and it was a 2K video. And once I posted that, I was like, you know what? I'm about to document the whole thing, because on One Truth Talk, I'm basically documenting my lifestyle, right? I'll tell you, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm just letting you know what it is, bro. Some people like to gatekeep. Can't nobody stop you. You can say what the fuck you want. I'm not saying, tell everybody your plans, but you here with me. So, I mean, obviously you can go over there and see it for yourself. Okay, he's documented. This is another limited self-belief that I had. I was like, man, I can't talk about certain things, and that's true to an extent. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not even gonna get too deep on that. I go deep into topics really quick, bro. So you'll realize that about me if you just watch me enough, right? But I had set the camera up and I was like, you know what? What would I be doing if I was in Atlanta? What would my lifestyle look like? And I was like, you know what, bro? It was feeling like it was just this stagnant energy, dog. And I can identify what it was. What it was I kept waiting. I was like, man, when I get to Atlanta, I'm gonna do this. You know what I said, bro? I said, I'm about to do this now. Dog. And I had went at this little spot by my house, and I relapsed, it was maybe like 12 o'clock the day before I decided this. 12 o'clock at night. And then the day after that, I said, I'm about to start documenting like I would be doing if I was in Atlanta, and just post it. Because I'm collapsing time. Time don't exist. The only thing that makes time exist is when you put things off. You say, oh, I'm gonna do this in December, I'm gonna do this next year. That's when time really matters. But I realized you don't operate like that. You're supposed to operate in the present moment, because this is the only moment we have right now as me and you are talking right now, right? So look, check it, peep this, right? So once I did that, bro, my whole life shifted. Now, if you watch this video that I have on One Truth Talk, dog, I got up, I recorded myself and everything, right? I recorded myself getting up, walking downtown. I seen a girl with a duck. I've never seen this. I was literally outside of the coffee shop. I just looked up, seen a girl with a duck in her hand. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was tripping. I'm like, this shit is weird. I seen her walking with a duck. I'm like, this bitch really walking with a duck. So if you wanna, figure out what that video is like, you just go over there, and it's a video that says, either you collapse time now or you spend years waiting on the right time, or something like that. But you will see how weird that was. And I was like, damn, if I would have never woke up and walked this divine path on this routine that I said today, I would have never experienced that. I have never experienced like something, I'm telling you, bro. And I knew at that moment I shifted, because I'm like, dog, this shit just feel like different. That whole day, it shifted my whole reality until I'm talking right now. And this was probably like 3 weeks ago. So what I'm saying is this, right? This is gonna tie into NoNutNovember. I just went on a rampage, holy crap. This is gonna tie into NoNutNovember, right? But what I'm saying is, I made this shift. I stopped waiting on that time, and I made this shift now. I started waking up at 2:45 when I was working at my job, which was Freddy's. Follow me, because we're gonna get into NoNutNovember, right? NoNutNovember. I'm saying is, I started collapsing time, right? And and this is what NoNutNovember does. Everybody knows when NoNutNovember comes, where it's like, it's NoNutNovember, let's hold our nut. But I'm trying to tell you, what if I told you it was a mindset, dog? What if I told you semen retention is a practice that you practice, of course, but this shit all comes from your mindset. As I was telling my client, or even somebody in my comment, they asked me something like, bro, like, how do I get on my journey and stuff? And this is what I realized, because I was just in your shoes, dog. This comes naturally once you become the man. Once you become the man that can walk and talk and walk throughout your day like the man, bro, you're going to be able to get those negative thoughts that come in your head out the way. You're going to be able to say no. You're going to have that discipline. But it's all about getting uncomfortable, right? That's the whole biggest thing about this, is getting uncomfortable. So once I made that shift, I was like, wow, like, not only did I collapse time, but basically my whole world shifted. Like, even my mother, bro, she started getting so many great things that started to come to her. And she even told me, she was like, bro, are you doing something? And my mama knows that she know I be meditating and stuff. Like, when I started meditating, she started seeing angel numbers. This was when I was like 17. They have never seen angel numbers. And then my uncle started to see angel numbers, and then my sister started to see angel numbers. So, when you make this shift, you will shift people around you, right? So it's like, my thing is this, like, with this NoNutNovember thing, right? My whole time being on semen retention, for me, when I first started, I was like, man, November, I can relapse on October the 31st, because guess what? November is coming. But I'm trying to tell you, bro, that mindset alone is the reason why you won't succeed on this journey. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, you definitely have to go through trials for you to understand what I'm saying, because I can tell you this and spark something within you, but bro, you're not going to learn until the universe puts you through these trials, because you gotta think, bro, it's like if everybody could do this, they would do it. What is stopping you from reaching this goal? And all it is the problems, right? You ever realize, like, as soon as you start doing something, all these problems start coming in? Why? Bro, what is life without problems, dog? More money, more problems. Think about it, bro. Money wouldn't even be a thing if they weren't no problems, right? The only reason why people, when you have a problem, you want somebody to solve it, right? But ain't nobody gonna be solving no problems in this life for free. You see what I'm saying? Because like Glow J said, he's a guy on YouTube, he be doing clothes and stuff. He said, when you pay attention, right? If I give you my money, bro, I'm gonna pay attention. You see what I'm saying? But if I don't, if you just do it for free, first of all, it's like you ain't gonna even understand the value behind it, right? That's why people be like, well, money is this, but I feel like money is a good distributor in this reality, just for the simple fact of it kind of precedes your value, right? Or it matches up with the value of the value, because you basically, bro, money is basically a value exchange, right? Value for the money, right? How much value do you have, right? How much valuable are you? So my thing is, not to get off path, because I got to go back to my thought. I don't know what thought I was on, but I'm going to just pick up a thought, right? Like, the mindset, bro, just of saying, I'm going to wait till November to start going. You're not, bro, because I'm trying to tell you, this is a lifestyle, and this is something you're going to have to realize being on this journey. I don't know if you're older. I don't know if you're younger. I don't give a fuck how old you is, right? But I'm going to tell you what you need to know. And what you need to know is, when you're on this journey, dog, you have to understand what it is. I told you it's an esoteric practice. It wasn't meant for everyone to know in the public. But semen retention is talked about by so many guys. But the thing is, a lot of these guys, they're stuck in that lady phase. You see what I'm saying? And then a lot of guys will get a girl and attract a woman. But the thing is this, if you on semen retention, bro, I'm just gonna be honest. If you say you practicing semen retention, bro, first of all, you should be on it for at least some years. You shouldn't be worried about women, and women are gonna come. Like, I look back at all the women that I have been around, dog, in this last 4 years, it is crazy, bro. It is out of this world. And really, when I was 17, this shit really started to happen. Like I said, I've always been around women. I spoke on this, I think, in one of my videos. I've always been around a lot of girls, but I never had that essence about me to really even hit them. You feel me? Just being honest. There was around a lot of girls in high school I didn't hit, though. Around a lot of them, never hit. Was kind of that guy that just was craving female energy. And I'll talk about that in another video. But I was craving that female energy, because once I did get out of that porn phase, kind of, I was around women, but my libido was low, right? And there's no reason why your libido should be low as a 16, 17-year-old. It's because you're whacking your meat, right? You got a fake confidence. Bro, confidence ain't even a thing at this point for me, right? When I get it, bro, like, that's not even a thought, right? Like, confidence is for the observer, right? But like I said, confidence is for the one who's observing. True confidence from the one who's thinking from it and living it, they don't even look at it like that, right? You're on a mission. You're walking with purpose. It comes off like it's confidence, but you're focused, dog. There's no such thing as confidence, right? That's for the observer to say, oh, he's confident. They don't understand. So I've always gotten that too recently. Like, you're super confident. It comes off as arrogant. But then, I've mastered my emotional energy. Once I first got on this journey, I was very confident, but I also still was tapped more into my emotional side. And that was more so because I still was that old self-concept of myself, right? I still identified with a guy who was trying to master semen retention. But once I actually understood, just really sat back for a season of my life and was like, wow, you know what? I've accomplished a lot at 20 years old. And then 21, man, when I locked in, I was like, holy shit. But this is what happened. I had to God had to take everything away from me to really see what I had and what I've accomplished. Right? Because what you've gotten and you've accomplished in this world, you can get it back again. But a lot of the times when you level up in life, everything gotta crumble. So, bro, I ain't gonna lie, man, things are shifting, and I ain't gotta say too much. Just understand, there are things that's rolling right now, bro. And you'll be able to see why I don't speak on certain things. I'll go back and reference this video. It's like, remember when I said I don't speak on certain things? It's the reason why I don't speak on certain things. And it's just for the simple fact, you don't want to ruin your own surprise. You know what I'm saying? You want to just keep everything within you for you and God, right? God showing you these visions. I got merch coming out, dog. I made this merch when it was 2023, 2022, 2020, 2024, 2023, 2024, 2024. And bro, I put so much thought into it. I never launched it. I was supposed to launch it in 2024, but I ended up coming back to Louisiana. So now 2026, I will be launching my merch. And oh my fucking God, it is pressure. And it is gym apparel. And it is streetwear apparel. And it is oversized. And it is the new style. You feel me? So y'all have a lot to work with, right? But NoNutNovember, dog, is one of those topics. It's like, don't even worry about it, bro. Over here, we shift your mind, dog. And let me tell you this, dog. I'm not perfect at all, but I can't lie to you. I'm at the point now where things are about to shift tremendously. And it's not because of me thinking it. I consciously understand exactly where I'm at right now in life. And I understand my environment has had a pull on me. But cool, right? We don't make no excuses. We're going to shift our internal. And that's exactly what I did. And of course, I'm waking up every single day looking at the same scenery because God has put me in this position to learn and grow, right? Because I already know what I've created in the world, but I had to be in this holding cell, almost like solitary confinement, correct? So I couldn't change anything in my external world. I was forced to go within and change my internal. What would I be feeling like if I was living this life? What would I be doing? And I had to do that now. And that was the mindset shift. That's the mindset shift that I'm telling you about with NoNutNovember. I can't just tell you, bro, you need to make the mindset shift. I got to give you insight because if I jump you right to the end, you're not going to understand it. And that's the problem with everyone. They want to go straight to the end. They want to go straight to their desired reality, but they don't want to go through the trials to build them up to get to that level. Think about it like that. Especially in my videos, when I talk to you, I give you the subject or I tell you what it is, bro. I'm going to take you through the try. It's going to lead up. And at the end, it's going to make sense. But if you just come and you're like, bro, what is he talking about? I want to know about NoNutNovember. Listen, dog. That's not how God do. That's not how God do. Because you can get to that and lose it. At this point, it's just motivation. Nigga, I'm not here to motivate you, bro. I'm not here to motivate you, dog. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. Because I had to learn through trial and experience what I needed to know, not what I wanted to know, right? I didn't know it was gonna be like this on this journey, bro. I didn't know I would, dog, this whole year, I had to lock in, right? Like I couldn't go out or nothing, bro. I had to put my head down for a whole entire year straight, bro. Think about living in Atlanta, doing all of this stuff, living quote unquote a fast life. And that was good that I slowed down and found peace within myself too. But it's like, imagine going from that to having to create. And I completely realized that I feel like I created this reality for myself. It was a nice spot for me to rest and create while I was here in Louisiana. But it's like, bro, there was no partying. There was no women. It been straight grind. Go on One True Talk, you'll see it. So it's like, I didn't know I was gonna have to do this, bro. If God would have showed me that I would have had to go through this, dog, I would have been like, man, how am I gonna do that, God? I don't even think I want to practice semen retention. And that's a lot of the times why God don't want to, kind of show you what you're gonna gotta go through, because nobody would want to go through that. But now I look for, these moments, and these not down pitfalls, but like I look for problems in life, right? Because once you look for the problems, you don't get hit with them out of nowhere. And you understand that that's only raising you up to a different or a higher version of yourself once you solve those problems. So to wrap everything up about NoNutNovember, right? I need you to understand this. Like I said, you really need to get away from the mainstream topic on all of these topics like semen retention. Everything that's mainstream is always something that's under it. And what's under it is, bro, basically, there's always some esoteric stuff behind everything. And I'm just gonna be honest, once you raise your level of awareness, you realize there's nothing new under the sun, which makes it very esoteric. But, a lot of things are exoteric, right? They teach you the exoteric knowledge behind everything. They put it in your face. I don't want to call them like they, but just people who grab things and they just make it seem like it's just, no, bro, no. It's not like that, bro. Come to reality, right? But a lot of people living in a fantasy, and it's good to live in a fantasy. It's good to be delusional. But, you know, God gonna show you the real, and then you gonna understand what reality is like when your ass gotta go through these problems and understand, oh, like, this is actually a lifestyle. So like I said, bro, to wrap it up, NoNutNovember to me, bro, is just pointless. It's a mind fuck. If you practice it, it's cool, you know, but you know, you might see a guy, hear about it, and you probably never heard about semen retention. You're like, bro, NoNutNovember, like, you're probably a TikTok meme. You'll see somebody on, you know, TikTok talking about it. Today is NoNutNovember, and I'm going to practice NoNutNovember. And then they'll have a meme of, you know, the next day, they just like relapse, right? They'll make fun of it. But the guys who actually, you know, want to practice this, just for God, honestly, dog, just so you can save yourself for the wife or your future or whatever, they look at that and be like, wow, like they plan, they make it comedy, which is good. You got to have comedy in life. But if you really are on this journey and you really practice it, you just understand that it's just another way of making it like a gimmick. NoNutNovember, then okay, so you're going to hold your nut all November, and then December, you just going to bust for 30 days straight. I don't know, but hey, to you, you know, for what you do, it's for what you do. But that's my take on NoNutNovember, and I think that it's really destroying the minds of those men who are not practicing semen retention and practicing it. So don't even worry about NoNutNovember, dog. Just stay on the journey, dog. Keep doing what you're doing. If you fall off the journey, bro, just understand that that's a part of your growth. The failure is a part of your growth. Just gonna be honest and really take this with caution. Don't overdo this, please, right? I'm not saying indulge in your vices and just be comfortable. But what I am saying is, what I'm telling you, apply this to your life, but not just apply it. Understand when you do indulge in your vice, if you do, because if you're watching this and you kind of like, I'm still, you know, indulging, then it's for you. We're not gonna sugarcoat this shit, right? Because I done been through it, bro. I understand. Don't beat yourself up, right? Do not beat yourself up that you relapse. That's not what you should do. In order to get away from the problem, you need to not put your attention on the problem. You need to come up with the solution. You need to start focusing on the solution, right? And I've studied quantum physics, and I understand what you observe actually comes into reality. So you don't need to keep observing the pattern of just keep relapsing. Focus on, like, let's say I relapse right now. I'm not finna be sitting here like, oh my God. I'm gonna try to come up with a solution like, all right, bro, so tomorrow I'm gonna do this. That's way better than just sitting there and just trying to come out and just not even coming up with a solution. Just not even taking a shower, just pulling your pants up and just going out and just, you know, you might eat some food, go to sleep, wake up, get the urge again. You might bust another nut. Now you bust 2 nuts. Now you bust another 3 nuts. Now it's like, nah, like, bro, try to come with a solution. And you might even do that. But I'm saying come up with a solution, and you're going to slowly move towards that reality where you find the solution. Once again, bro, I'm just a spark. I'm not here trying to be Superman, but I understand what most guys go through because I am a man and I've been through it, dog. And I'm really working on, like, pushing this shit. We're going to push at all costs. We're going to push, man. I'm a fool, but I'm a wise fool. One wise fool, man.